especially today, I will deal with this group action and counting technique. Most of the problem. Possibly, I wanted to talk about little bit class equation and one question which is very important. That question came in NV exam, CSAR, and many places. Okay, and also they asked in interviews this particular question, and I know why. And I will tell you there are some three different ways to say something is not class equation, and that three different way they wanted to see. Okay, we will try to answer few questions related to group of small order, some small order group. But I don't know if I get a time, I will do it. But I love to do up to this at least. Okay, so let's start with this. So last time we calculated group of order 56 and 12. For 12, I did a mistake in the last class. I did a mistake, some common mistake. Today, I will do it slowly. So yesterday we stopped at counting using the counting idea, the same thing. So let us start with group of order 12. 2 square into 3, and we know this. 2, so the from the third Sylow's theorem, n2 congruent to 1 mod 2, n2 divides whatever the remaining 3, and the possibilities 1 or 3. Then we have like both of them are satisfied this by equation. This means n2 minus 1 divisible by 3. That means n2 minus 1 by 3 belongs to integer. So if I put 1 minus 1, 0 is okay. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 is divisible by 2. So both are satisfied. But if you see here, 1 satisfied, same thing. 2 does not satisfy. 2 minus 1 not divisible by 3. But 4 minus 1 is 3 divisible by 3. So this equation satisfied. Like that, yesterday, I have many cases. How many cases I have? I have 4 cases. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4. But among these cases, these 3 are directly easy because somewhere the 1 is coming. So direct, no problem. We can say there exists a silo P subgroup which is unique. So normal. So not simple. But here, the case 4, we have to see very carefully. The same thing, yesterday, whatever. So case 4, what is the case 4? Where N2 is not unique, so it's a 3. N3 is not also unique, it's 4. So let's start with the N4. Why I'm starting with the that N3? Because it's 2 square into 3. And this is single prime is there. So that's what we are starting from there. Just like yesterday. So K1, K2, K3, K4. There are 3 silos of groups are there. To understand, I put that Ki is 3. There are 3 silos of groups are there. And I know Ki intersection Kj equal to trivial if I not equal to j, because something non-trivial element generate the entire group, non-trivial element generate the entire group. If you have common non-trivial element that generate this as well as this because of cyclicness. Okay, see, still the cyclic groups are very much helpful to us. So there are 3 elements here, 1 identity and 2. There are 3 elements, so extra 2, extra 2, extra 2, totally 9. Yesterday I put like 3, 3, 3, 1 plus 3, 3, 3, 3 like that. That's what the mistake yesterday. So we got only 9 elements. Now we have to use this. There are 3 things, H1, H2, H3. There are 2 silos of groups. And this silos of group order is not just 2, it's 2 square, it's 4. So from here, what happens? We have 1 and 3. 1 already counted. So 3 will come and contribute something. So already I have 9. Then I have 3. And why that's not overcounting? Because everything here is a order 3 element. But everything here is a order 2 or 4 element. Multiple of 2. So that's why we have 9 plus 3. It's actually 1 plus 8 plus 3. 1 for identity. These are order 9 element. This is multiple of 2 element. Already we counted 12. But there is another, at least there are 2, at least another one is here that will give you 1. So it's 13. But we started with a group of order 12. Just like yesterday for 56, same. I wanted to illustrate so that there is a link to the yesterday's lecture. Whoever attended yesterday, they could understand this very clearly. Okay, this is just a warm up. Yesterday I made a mistake also this. So this is called counting method. using the counting method. I told you why one should or when one should use the counting method, because whenever the prime and the power is sort of the prime and the power, the relationship, the power is smaller or equal to the prime, one can use it. If not, it is difficult. We will see why this is difficult. And now let's go for the 96. This 96 appeared in the exams. That's why. So I just wanted to continue up to 60, 1 to 60, but 96 appeared in the exam. But the same trick will work in everywhere. Okay. What is the first step? All the questions we are trying to say not simple. This is asked in IIT 2016 second level exam. Madras IITM level exam. Okay. 96. 2 power 5 into 3. So this is 32 into 3, it's 96. So same thing, what you do, first you calculate like by third Solo's theorem, n2 congruent to 1 mod 2, and n2 divides whatever the remaining is 3, so 1 or 3. And you see all the both are satisfied by the equation, so we don't have any cut. And you see here 2 for 5, like 1 or 2 or 4 or 8 or 16, it could be 32 also. But this condition, 3 divisible by n3 minus 1, cutting down many things. 2 is not possible, 8 is not possible, 32 is not possible. You see, we have 2 cases here, we have 3 cases here, so we have to consider many cases. So total is 6 cases. 2 possibility here, 3 possibility here. So total is 6 possibility we have to consider. What are the 6 possibility? These are 6 possibilities. 1 1, 1 4, 1 16, 3 1, 3 4, 3 16. But up to this, no problem. Directly we can see there is at least one Silo subgroup which is unique. By second Solo's theorem corollary, that says this is a normal, and all of them are prime order, which is normal and unique and proper, non-trivial. So in the case, it's everything is nice. But in the case, there are two things. Okay, there are two things. And yesterday, while discussion section, I illustrated why the counting method is not working. You try. You take this case, you try. Maybe you can take this case also, you try. I don't know about the sixth case, but fifth case you can try. The counting method will not help, because the reason the primes are small, we are not going to get many things. And also the power is bigger, more power. We don't know this kind of condition, the intersection conditions. This kind of intersections are, very important. The non-trivial intersection, that kind of condition is not available for this. This is a bigger group, but not available. So we have to think something else. You see, what is the problem here? The problem occurs where n2 is 3, both are commonly having n2 is 3, right? When n2 is 3, I have some problem. So let us consider the fifth question. Or case 6 also same. Case 6 also same. So what is the problem? Where n2 is the 3. Okay, let's start with n2 is the 3. Forget about the n3. I don't care about n3. n2 is 3. So n2 is 3 means I am just noting it is easy to take. The counting trick is not really helping here. Now we will introduce some group action trick. What is a group action trick? Okay. Let's take a set. So remember that we have n2 is 3. So I have accounted H1, H2, H3. What is second Silo theorem says? Second Silo says, when you have a Hi, then G inverse. G varies over G. These are all the Silo P subgroup. All Silo P subgroup. That's what second Silo theorem says. That's what I'm using exactly here. First, I'm defining a group action on this three thing. I know how many are there, right? I assume that these three. There are three things. I am having group action. Let's do whether check this group action works or not, whether this is group action or not. What is a group action defined? This is the definition. G acting on HI is G inverse. Okay, let us check the first question. First axiom, HI should be HI, but according to us, EI inverse, E is identity or one, you can assume that this is HI, right? E does not do anything. So it's HI, identity, E is identity in G. The second thing, G1, G2, HI is nothing but G1, G2, HI, G1, G2 inverse. So let's do first G2, G2, HI, G2 inverse, then do G1, G1, G2 inverse, sorry, G1 inverse, which is same as G1, G2, HI, G2 inverse, G1 inverse, but reversal law saying that it's a simple thing, reversal law of the group action. A, B, all inverse is B inverse, A inverse, right? So that reversal law says that this is true. So this is equal. Both of them are equal. So two conditions of group action satisfied. Once forever we are checking. Okay. So the group action does not uses anything from the silos, right? We have taken silo subgroups, we define something in general one can do. But what this second silos theorem says, you catch one group, multiply like this, you get all other group. That means this guy related to here, this guy to related to this guy. So you catch one guy, this guy is related to this guy is related to this. One guy, you can catch everyone. So that in group action language, do you remember yesterday I said something? Transitive action. Yesterday I said something, transitive action. You get to one and the whole, suppose G acting on X, and the capital X equal to the one orbit, then it's called transitive. So second Silos theorem saying this is transitive, nothing else, just transitive. This is another way of saying. So simply or roughly, you catch one guy, then you catch every guy by this thing. That is what I technically cleverly defined into a group action, because we can have a group action things. Okay, now let's see. So this says it. Okay. But whenever you have a group action, you have a equivalently something very nice, right? I said that giving group action on X is equivalently saying G to SX homomorphism. In our case, our X is 3. The cardinality of X is 3. So there is a homomorphism from G to S3. Correct? There is a homomorphism from G to S3. And you see G is 96. S3 is just only 6. G is 96, S3 is only 6. It cannot be injective. Cannot be injective. Why? If it's injective, every element is a unique element here. Right? Two element cannot go to the one element. So at least this should be as big as G. Then only I can talk about injectivity. But this is just only 6 element. This is 96 element. So it cannot be injective. Cannot be injective means what? Equivalently, kernel of phi is not trivial. Kernel of phi is not trivial. Saying same as injectivity is not true, because this is 6, this is 96. Now, cannot be trivial map. What do I mean by cannot be trivial map? So there is a possibility, right? Actually, I'm looking for this kernel. This kernel, I want to say this is non-trivial and proper. If the kernel is whole, the kernel is whole. Suppose the kernel of phi equal to G. Suppose. Okay, suppose this is true. Then what happens? G inverse equal to H. This is what it is meaning, because we know the kernel of the action is same as kernel of the homomorphism. If the kernel of the homomorphism is full, it will not do anything, right? So that's how the kernel is defined. Let us recall the kernel definition. Kernel of phi is intersection of all stabilizer. Intersection of all stabilizer. The kernel of the homomorphism is same as kernel of the action. Stabilizer means it will not do anything against X. It will not do anything against X. Same thing. If the kernel is the total group, G inverse is H1. Let's say H1. let's say H1. So it will not do anything. But that is not true. Why? The second Silos theorem says that you will catch one guy, just catch one guy. Then if you catch one guy, all the rest of them will relative, just conjugate. That is exactly the meaning of transitivity. That is exactly the meaning of transitivity. But we are saying that if the kernel is total, like the complete G, it will not do anything. It is a trivial action. It will not do anything. So that says that kernel cannot be trivial. That says that kernel cannot be the whole. That means the map is not trivial. Trivial. So the kernel is now not in identity, not full also, not full, not full. So that says that hence the kernel is normal, non-trivial, proper subgroup of G, hence G is not simple. Do you see the technique? If you don't understand, it's okay because we are going to use this technique again and again, again and again. Okay? I will tell you, the problem occurs only if there is a 3. And this is a small number to have. So you construct yes, group act on that, and you get all the thing. We checked this once forever. Once forever we checked it, and we see that this side is 96, this side is 6, this cannot be injective. And second Silos says that it is cannot be a trivial, and as long as there is more than more than one silo group. Okay, so that says that it cannot be injective, it cannot be a trivial map. So the kernel is a proper, normal, non-trivial subgroup. So G is not simple. This technique we are going to use again. Okay, let's see. So this is a group action technique. So far we have dealt with particularly some groups like 96, like 56, 12, like that. Now let's go for the general groups. That's still a problem. PQ type. In the discussion section, I have a very nice thing to share with you people. Very nice things are there. Okay, attend the discussion section. It will be very nice today. It will be a very interaction thing. Okay, now the type PQ. Same thing. You have a group of order PQ, P less than Q, both are prime. These are given. This is a very standard thing. Okay. Similarly, NP is a number of P silos of group congruent to 1 mod P. Then is a remaining, this divides the Q. So 1 or Q possible. 1 I know always possible. Q I don't know whether it's possible or not. Sometimes NP divides Q minus 1, sometimes not. So maybe it's true. I don't know. Sometimes not. I don't know. For example, 15. 15 can be decomposed into 3 into 5, and you see that 3 does not divide 5 minus 1. So that's easy. But if you go for 21 and you see that it is like 3 into 7, 3 divides 7 minus 1. So I don't know. But on the other hand, you relate it to Q because of this condition. NQ congruent to 1 mod Q, NQ divides the remaining one, the P, it's like 1 or P. But the P is not possible because P minus 1 not divisible by Q. Just because P is less than Q. P minus 1 even less than Q. So it will not happen. So this will not happen. Exactly. So in that sense, the corresponding the Q, the NQ is 1. The corresponding the silo Q subgroup, it's normal, non-trivial because it's just Q, it's a prime number, proper subgroup because the order is PQ, G order is PQ, that's just Q. It's a proper non-trivial normal subgroup, hence G is not simple. So we have established a nice result where PQ type groups are not simple. This are PQ card. P is prime, Q is prime. Okay, I will give you examples. Now in general examples, you take 15, 21, or you could say 35, like this. So in a one stroke, we have established, these are the examples. Okay, now let's go. P power alpha type. P power alpha type means these are called P groups. A group is said to be P group if the order is P power some alpha greater than or equal to 1. Sometimes they include 0 also, according to the author wish, but I always include greater than or equal to 1. Okay. First fact about P groups, those are not the center is normal. Always this is for any group, but for the P group, the center is always non-trivial. This is the one of the most important theorem, and I will say this is the most important theorem. All the other theorems will follow some trick or this. Okay, the center of the P group is always non-trivial, and any subgroup. This is also generally true. Generally, whether finite or infinite, generally any subgroup of center, because the commutative property is there. G inverse is H, because G inverse nothing but G inverse H, because of the commutative property. Any subgroup is also normal. Okay, so the center of G is not trivial, then it contains whenever P divides, it contains that many elements. Okay, using these four ideas, center of G is normal, it contains many things, is normal subgroup. Whenever P divides, there is an element, and any subgroup is normal, and this is normal, non-trivial normal subgroup Z of G. Using that, we say any P group, P power alpha, the center of G is P power some beta. This implies center of G, P power beta, and beta is less than or equal to alpha. Note that I am using alpha greater than or equal to 2. If alpha is 1, then it's a P group. We don't have anything, right? Just cyclic. It's a P group. Just the prime. The order is prime, P power 1. So it's a ZP. So there is nothing, no much interest we have. But we have an interest here. When alpha greater than or equal to 2, center of G, the order of the center of G is P power beta. Okay, the P power beta. In the P power beta, we have subgroups generated by A in ZG, whose order is P. Okay. I wanted to recall the theorem. I verbally recall the theorem. What is the theorem? Cauchy theorem for finite abelian groups. That says that just generally true. Whenever G divides, there exists element of order P. Prime. P is prime. Whenever a prime number dividing the group order, there exists element. This is the Cauchy theorem you first proved for abelian groups. Then later on, using Seiler's theorem, people proved for general groups. Okay. People proved for general groups. That's it. Now you see that. Okay. So there exists a subgroup of order P. So this subgroup of order P is not full because it's greater than or equal to 2. This is just order. This is not full. And this is not trivial because it's at least P elements are there. So it's not trivial. It's not full. It's normal. Okay. Non-trivial, proper, normal. So this is what I want to show, right? So this implies G is not simple. G is not simple because we have a non-trivial, proper, normal subgroup. G is not simple. Okay. So we have proved that whenever type P power alpha, where alpha greater than or equal to 2, remember that is very, very important. Alpha greater than or equal to 2, that's very important. Okay, whenever alpha is greater than or equal to 2, we have not simple groups. When alpha equal to 1, just P, then that is simple. That is ZP only. That is simple. Okay. Let me go through. I want to consider P square Q. Okay. For example, in the one stock, let me give me example. Example 9, okay, like 4, 9, 16, not 16, sorry. 9, okay, then there are a few examples. One can say 49. Okay, 49. Okay, 16 also true. 16, 32, like this kind of examples are there. Okay, it's a P powers. It's P square, P cube, P powers. These are P powers. Okay, 27 is also there. Okay, like that. These are the examples. Now let us consider p square q, type. So same thing. Now you must have, comfortable with the calculation, right? P square q, then np congruent to 1 mod p, np divides the remaining one, which is q. So 1 or q, the same thing, I don't know. P can divide q minus 1. I don't know, so maybe, I don't know. But on the other hand, we have this thing. NQ congruent to 1 mod q, that's by Thayer's theorem, and NQ divides the rest of the thing, p square. So we have 1 or p square. Okay, 1 or p square. P is not possible because p less than q. P is not possible because p cannot congruent to 1 mod q. That says us q divides p minus 1. How can it be possible? Because p less than q. So it is not possible. So what happened? Only possibility, the next possibility is p square. There is a possibility of 1 or there is a possibility of p square. If the possibility of 1 is comes, we are done, right? Because we are getting a q stylus subgroup which is unique and we are done. And we have to care about only one case where nq is p square. Okay, it can be, maybe. Actually, it's true. There is only one case occurs. nq equal to p square. That means q divides p square minus 1. That is what I have written here. The p square satisfies this equation. The literally meaning q divides p square minus 1. That is same as saying that, see, I can return like 1 square. That is same as saying p square, p minus 1, q minus 1. But remember that p less than q. So this is a prime number, little bit of number theory. This is a prime number dividing a and b. So it should divide a, either a or b, but it cannot divide a because a is p minus 1, which is less than q. So it should divide only p plus 1. So that is what I included here. It's q divides p plus 1. That is the same as saying what? Q plus 1, sorry, p plus 1 is some multiple of q. This is positive, everything positive, the alpha must be positive. For some alpha greater than 0. But because see, this is positive, alpha cannot be negative. So alpha must be positive. So I have a p which is less than q, less than or equal to p plus 1. Because see, this is alpha multiple. In fact, this is actually greater than or equal to 1. We will prove this is 1. We will prove this is 1. Okay. So there is a number which is less than the another number, but the next consecutive number is less than or equal to because of this equation. Okay. So this is like the number, the next number, and this is greater than. So q better be equal to p plus 1. What is the situation? P is prime, q is prime, and both are consecutive. How come it is possible? Only if 2 and 3. In the world, I mean, in the number system, 2 and 3 only consecutive prime. All other are not consecutive. Okay, all other are not consecutive. So we have a prime, 2 consecutive prime, which are 2 and 3. Do you remember? We started with g, p square q. Now we end up with 2 and 3. 2 square into 3. What is that? 12. Do you remember? Today we already dealt with 12. So nq is 1. We already dealt with 12. nq must be 1. Okay. All other cases nq must be 1. I will repeat the argument slowly. I will repeat the argument. This is one of the very important arguments. We dealt the group 12, forgot about group 12. We know that is not simple. Apart from 12. So suppose somebody give you the p square q, then you argue like this. After getting the possibility, p square may be possible. If p square is not possible, then we are done. Because there is only one unique p cube. If p square is possible, and I argue, if p square is possible, q divides p square minus 1, which says that if q divides p plus 1, because p minus 1 cannot be divisible by p, just because of this, p less than q. So p plus 1 is alpha q. Hence p less than q less than or equal to p plus 1. So q better be equal to p plus 1. So both are consecutive prime numbers. So only option is p equal to 2, q equal to 3. That means g equal to 12. And we know that we dealt already the 12 case. So that is not simple. All other cases, NQ is 1. So NQ is a proper, this implies the group corresponding K, this Q element, proper because of 1, it's normal and non-trivial. These 3 conditions are satisfied, so G is not simple in that case. So we have proved that in the case of P square Q also, it is not simple, all the case. So there are examples. Example is like 12. You can put 3 square into 7, 3 square into 11, like that. You can construct many things. So 12 is one of the example. Okay, 12 is one of the example. Okay, let's go. Now, let us deal with this PQR. Instead of dealing with PQR, I want to deal with 105. Okay, I want you to try PQR. The counting trick will work. I'm saying that the counting trick will work. Okay, we will see in 105, and the same technique will work for all. We will see for 103. Okay. Give me a moment. So I wanted to analysis slowly, listen carefully. So far, I have just narrated things. Now I'm going to work properly. Okay. March is 105. So it's 3 into 5 into 7. 7 into 5 is 35. Into 3 is 105. Yeah, correct. All of them are 1. The power 1. Okay. Let us see. Slowly I will work out. N3 congruent to 1 mod 3. N3 divides. Remember that except 3, all the remaining. It's like 5 into 7. So what are the possible things? What are the possible things? It can be 1. It can be 5. It can be 7, or it can be 35. These many possibilities. And we check. 1 is always possible. 5 minus 1 is 4, not divisible by 3, so not 5. 7 minus 1 is 6, divisible by 3, so this is possible. 35 minus 1 is 34, not divisible by 3, right? So this is not possible. So let's go for next one. N5 congruent to 1 mod 5. N5 divides 3 into 7. Except this, all remaining. So the possibility is like N5, it can be 1 or 3 or 7 or 21. So what are the not possible? 1 is always possible. This is not possible. 3 minus 1 is 2. It's not divisible by 5. 7 minus 1 is 6. It's not divisible by 5. But 20 minus 1 is, 21 minus 1 is 20, divisible by 5. 4 times 5 is 20. So divisible by 5. So these are the possibilities. Okay, let's now go for 7. So far we dealt with only two things. Now we are dealing with three things. 3 things. 1 mod 7. N7 divides 3 into 5. So what is that? It is like N7 possibility is 3. Sorry. 1 or 3 or 5 or 15. Or 15. What are the possibility? 1 is always possible. 3 minus 1 is 2, not divisible by 7, so no possibility. 5 minus 1 is 4, not divisible by 7, no possibility. But 15 minus 1 is 14, which is divisible by 7. So it's possible. So we have many cases. You see, we have many cases. What are the cases? Cases. N3 possibility, N5 possibility, N7 possibility. Okay, many cases. But still, I'm saying that it can be done. It can be done. I'm telling you it can be done. Okay, I will tell you the trick. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 15. Actually, 2 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here, 2 possibilities here. So totally I have to count 8. 1, 21, 15. Sorry, I mean 1. 1, 21, 15. 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay, here 1, 1, 21, 21. 115, 115, 115, 115, These are the cases. These are this many cases. You see, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 cases. These are the cases. But most of them are direct. What are the direct? Let us see. This is direct. This is direct. This is direct. This is direct. No problem. There are ones somewhere. This is direct. No problem. This is direct. No problem. This is also direct. No problem. So the only problem comes here. Is it true? Or somewhere else? Is it true? The only problem comes here. Yeah, I think so. The only problem comes here. Maybe 7, 21, 15. The only problem comes here. Okay, we have to deal with that. So as I said, go for the bigger prime and count it like this. So we have the possibility n3 equal to 7. Discuss this case along. Case n3 equal to 7, n5 equal to 21, n7 equal to 15. Okay, this n7 HKL. Okay, let's call it L1, L2, L3 up to L15. I have a L15. What is Li? Li order is 7. So I have a 15 7 silos subgroup. Okay, what I will get? One identity, same idea, counting idea. One identity, and I will get 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 up to 15 times. 15 times. So that is 1 plus 15 times 6. What is that? 1 plus 30, 90, 90. Okay, 30, 90. 90. So 91 elements I have counted here. You see, already I have counted 91 elements. Already I have counted 91 elements. Now, here, from here, I will get 21 elements. From here, I will get 21. I mean, not 21 elements. I'm saying that the group corresponding, let's say K1, K2 up to K21. And what is Ki? Ki is of order 5. So I will get 1 plus, I will get 1 plus 4. So I count for 4, 4, 4. You see, this 4 how many times? 21 times into 4. So it's again 84 elements. So if you add this, it goes beyond 91 plus 84 goes beyond 105. So the counting technique says that this case is not possible. This is not possible. This case is not possible. Okay. The counting technique says that the case is possible. We have to consider only not, no one is considered. So the final case. And I'm telling you people, try PQR in a same way. P less than Q less than R. You try for 30 if you don't understand. Try slowly the method, counting method. Try for 30. I have tried for 105. You try for 30. Then go for the highest. P less than Q less than R. Go for the highest. Okay. Okay. So we have understand. This says that any PQR type also not simple. Any PQR type also not simple. Okay, fine. So far what we are doing, let us summary this. Okay, what is that? Let us summary. What is the summary? Okay. Summary. So far we said that what are the not simple? PQ, P less than Q, both prime. Not simple. Okay, this is the reason. Second, P square Q, P less than Q, not simple, both prime. This result we are going to use it again. Okay, third, P power alpha P alpha greater or equal to P prime, not simple. Four, PQR PQR P less than Q less than R. All prime, not simple. Okay, this is a summary. This is a summary. If you don't understand anything, it's okay. At least now, any order of PQ, you know that any order of PQ is not simple. Any order of P squared Q is not simple. Any order of P power alpha where alpha greater than or equal to is not simple. PQR, anything is not simple. So whenever people ask you anything, see, I am telling you, while dealing this not simple cases, you are understanding many things in group theory. Okay, this Silos theorem can be used to split the group and understand the group. For example, any group, the next question, it's, if it is not simple, we have a proper normal subgroup connected to Q, right? Then what if P is also normal? Then it's a cyclic. Otherwise, it's a unique non-abelian group. Okay, the case. So from analyzing this, you will arrive at one fact, which I'm recalling. If G is PQ, P less than Q, P and Q are both prime, then G is isomorphic to ZPQ, cyclic group, if P does not divide Q minus 1, like 15, or if, okay, or G is isomorphic to ZPQ, or G is isomorphic to unique non-abelian group. Okay, it's so unfortunate that I cannot able to teach you the semi-direct product, but for the people who knows about semi-direct product, I'm giving them. Other people, don't worry about that. At some point of time, we will learn. G is actually Z P semi-direct product ZQ. This is normal, and this is conjugation. People who don't know about semi-direct product, forget about this. I'm seriously saying, forget about that. Who know semi-direct product, for them I'm saying. Okay, so there is a one unique non. So this is an excuse. This is an excuse of recalling. And I told you the structure. This is my duty to tell you structure, but that is not the important. I recalled the thing. Okay, if P does not divide Q minus 1, P does not divide Q minus 1, there exists only cyclic group. For example, 15. Okay, example is 15. For this is example is 21. And if you see Michael Artin book, he has a very nice thing, nice construction about 21 group. Okay, he classified the 21 group. There is a nice construction from using matrix. First, try to understand that 21. Now, my suggestion is try to understand that 21. Then you can able to understand, get the feeling of the semi-direct product, and try to understand for many things, like little bit more, where P divides Q minus 1. Okay, and go on. Okay, very simple example is S3. The order of S3 is 6, 2 into 3. This is P, this is Q, and P divides Q minus 1, right? 2 divides 3 minus 1, which is again 2. So this says that we have a normal subgroup corresponding to 3, normal subgroup corresponding to 3, and this is can be recognized as semi-direct product actually. In fact, it is well-known fact. It's a well-known fact. This is set 2, semi-direct product, set 3, conjugation. It's a well-known fact that in general D to N isomorphic to D2 semi-direct product with a Dn. This is conjugation. And there is exactly one conjugation because of this order 2. Because of the order 2, exactly there is a one conjugation, which is called inversion. This is called inversion. Okay. I am just telling this so that at some point of time when you are studying from the book, it will be helpful for you. So if you don't know, it's very good, no problem. You will understand it that I have started. Okay. People who knows, for them it is okay. So DN structure is this. Do you see that again? Why I can't bypass this? I can able to bypass this without telling anything. But I told you because of this cyclic groups. Again, the cyclic groups are coming. Even though these are non-abelian, again the building blocks are cyclic group. So all you have to understand what is semi-direct product. Once you understand what is semi-direct product, then there are this coming. Okay, let me pause this moment and I will tell you why I am telling this. Okay. While dealing Galois theory, after studying field theory very nicely from books or from the teacher, you are going to deal with the Galois theory. So, in a Galois theory, finding the Galois group is quite a tough job. I have I had some problem with finding Galois groups. But for one Galois group, me and my friends, two of my friends were trying for a long time. More than 24 minutes, I mean, more than one day. Let's say one day we are trying, we could not able to find the Galois group because we were not good at this semi-direct product stuffs. Then one of our professor, Vishwanath, S. Vishwanath gave us, oh, this is little bit easy. Why don't you think in terms of semi-direct product? Then within 5 minutes, we got the answer. We got the structure. Okay, he gave just that answer. Think about the semi-direct product. Okay, S. Vishwanath sir, Professor S. Vishwanath sir gave us idea. Okay, so these semi-direct products are very important. If you have attended my first lecture or second lecture, I would have commented about the while groups, right? This D2 answer comes as while group for many Lie algebras. So from that you can understand that the semi-direct products are very important. So it's easy to learn. It's easy to learn. It will be easy. Just go through the online note or online video. There are some videos about semi-direct product. It's easy to learn, I'm saying. Okay, it's not difficult. It will help you. So again, using the known abelian group, you can construct the nice non-abelian subgroup because of this semi-direct product. Okay. So come back to our problem. Okay. So yesterday in the lecture, I told you I just specifically wanted to consider these things, and I have done for 56, no problem. Specifically wanted to construct this thing and reason I wanted to see in between, not included one or non included 60, in between. In between, I wanted to construct. I wanted to see what are the simple groups. Climb only prime order groups are simple. And we know the prime order group. What is a prime order group? That prime order group of ZP. We know that. And A5 is the first, the first non-abelian. Or we can say composite. Both are almost same, both are same in this sense. Is simple group. First non-abelian composite. So at least for you people, for the sake of problem sense to how to computationally work in problems, I wanted to see this. In the discussion section, we will have a very nice interaction with using all the thing, whatever I said, we will sum up that, summary of that. In that summary, we will work out one tabular column and that will help us to understand all these lectures. Okay, nice. Okay. First, I wanted to deal again problem since I wanted to deal for 24. Okay, let us see for 24. 20. Okay, there is 24. 24. Let's deal with 24. Can be split as 12 into 3 is 2. Not 12 into 3. I'm saying 12 into 2. So 2 cube into 3. 2 cube is 8. 8 into 3 is 24. Okay, fine. 24 is we filter into prime number p less than q in a way. So the same idea, n2 congruent to 1 mod 2, n2 divides this guy except this guy, and 1 or 3 is possible, and you check this is possible. n3 congruent to 1 mod 3, the same thing. Slowly, I asked you to work out for this many things, right? And I hope and I believe you. In fact, my trust is on you people that you have worked out. So I'm going a little fast on this. This, at least this must you work. This should be workable for you people. So n3 congruent to 1 mod 3, n3 divides the remaining thing. The same thing is again and repeating. So whenever people giving finite group, you should be able to do at least this much. Then analysis starts. This computational part, and you see the possibility, then analysis start. What is analysis? Two cases are here, and we know what are the cases. 1, 1, 1, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4. And you see direct. So only we have to care for this group. Okay, we have to care. We have to care for this group. Okay, N2 is 3, N3 is 4. In that case, if there is a G satisfying this condition, I have to think about it. So there are G satisfying these conditions. I have to think about it. And I am telling you the counting method will not work. Why? Again, you see, the primes are small, the power is bigger than the prime. It's not even equal to. So the prime is small. So the counting method will not work. So we wanted to consider for group action method. What is that? Group action method. Let's consider group action method. And I wanted to, for the group action method, I go for the smaller number again. For counting number, I go for the bigger number, but group action method, I will go for the smaller number. When N2 is 3, forget about this guy. When N2 is 3, we have 2 silos of group. And the order of that is nothing but 2 power 3, that is 8. Okay, remember, it's not 2, just 2, it's 2 power 8. Now I am acting G on here. How? G G inverse. Okay, and we have checked in general, this is a group action. Immediately, whenever I give a group action, immediately I know there is a map from G to S3, in our case, S3. Again, this side is 6, this side is 24. Observation, cannot be injective, right? Can be injective. Why? It's the same reason. This side is 3 factorial. This side is 24. Cannot be injective. So that implies infinite if kernel of E is not trivial. If kernel of P is trivial, it is injective. So 24, this must be at least 24. So this happens. The second thing, by second silo theorem, the same idea. Theorem, action is transitive. Okay. Action is transitive. So the action is transitive. So the kernel is not full. Do you remember? I will recall the fact. The kernel of the action, same as kernel of the phi. The associated this is nothing but intersection of stabilizers of x. X belongs to x. In our case, step of h, where h belongs to x. Okay, there are 3 stabilizers. But if the kernel is G, if, then I recalling the same fact, I'm repeating again and again, GH1 G equal to H1 for every G. But this is against of the second Salish theorem. Second Salish theorem says that when you get one guy, conjugate that guy, that is a special thing, phi G, inner automorphism, we say. Using inner automorphism or conjugation, whatever you call, you will get all the guys. That is what second Salish theorem says that. But this is happening, then second Salish theorem fail. So this is not happening. So that means kernel is not full. Kernel, we know kernel is not full, not trivial, proper normal subgroup. Hence, G is not simple. Okay? Do you see the point? The G is not simple. Are you able to listen me?
Yes,
Hello? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
I just wanted to
Yes, it is
confirm.
clear.
Okay, fine. Now, what I wanted to say again, I wanted to consider the 36 group. The same trick will work for 36. Okay. For 36, 2 square, 3 square, you can able to do this calculation, I hope. So I will go first. N2 congruent to 1 mod 2. N2 divides this remaining. So we have 3 possibilities. 1, 3, 9, and all of them satisfied by this equation. So the problem, see the problem whenever 2 comes, there is a huge problem. Whenever 2 comes, there is a huge problem because all other primes are odd except 2. So the possibility will get a odd, and odd minus 1, even. By the definition, it's going to divide. So whenever 2 comes, it's going to be a lot of cases. Okay, let's go for N3. Let's see whether it's useful. In the N3 case, N3 congruent to 1 mod 3, N3 divides 2 square, 1, 2 or 4, and you see the 2 is not satisfied by the equation, 4 is satisfied because 4 minus 1 is 3, 3 is divisible by 3. So there are 3 possibilities here, there are 2 possibilities here, so there are 6 possibilities. But again, I say, I don't want to consider the 6 possibility. I wanted to consider, okay, what are the 6 possibilities? Let me write it. 1, 1, 3, 3, 9, 9. So this is 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. And you see, these cases are easy. Only I have to care for this case. But in the 2 case, there is a common thing, 4. The only problem when N3 we get 4, I have to think about it. Okay. So let's go for group action method. Why I'm going for a group action method? Because primes are small and the powers are almost equal. Powers are equal. So I'm going for group action method. So in the group action method, the same thing, take N3 is 4, take K1, K2, K3, K4. There are 4 things and I act on this. So like last thing, this is a group action. Immediately I will get a homomorphism to S4. And you see S4 is 4 factorial is 24. This side is 36 and I having 24 this side. This side is 36 and 24. So kernel is not trivial, not injective. So not injective means kernel is not trivial. And actually, this is again the same reasoning. It cannot be. Implies GH. So by conjugation, okay. Same action. G inverse equal to H1 for every G. If, and this implies second Sylow's theorem not true. See how many times I called the second Sylow's theorem. The first Sylow's theorem just existence, that's okay. But the second Sylow's theorem and second Sylow's theorem corollary are much more useful. First, you count it using whether unique or not, go for the second Sylow's theorem. Okay, let me recall all the Sylow's theorem at this point. The first Sylow's theorem is called existence theorem, which says that whenever you write n equal to p power alpha into m and p comma m GCD is 1, there exists at least one group H who's having p power alpha. The H is subgroup. This is an existence theorem. So we are not much caring about existence theorem. Once you prove the theorem, you forget about the theorem. The second theorem says that whenever G is a H is a p-Sylow subgroup, then GH G inverse. Fancily, I used to write like PH. Some people write like this. Okay, Raghavan sir used to like this. This is because it's a Lie algebra notation. GH. This means GH G inverse, which is nothing but phi G. Phi G of H. All of them same. Okay, it's a fancy notation. Think about this notation also. Okay. So whenever you catch one p-Sylow subgroup, multiply by pre and the conjugate that, you will get all the p-Sylow subgroup. That means every p-Sylow subgroups, any two p-Sylow subgroups are conjugate. That is exactly the second Sylow. Okay. The third Sylow. Third Sylow says that if NP is a number of conjugation class, NP is a number of p-Sylow subgroup, then NP congruent to 1 mod P. It satisfies this condition and one more condition. Divides the M, the remaining. Okay. So using that, we are having this. You you can able to see the power of the Sylow's theory. Every word, every sentence contains Sylow. So you see the power of Sylow's theorem. Okay. So we have seen the power of Sylow's theorem in one aspect. So far we did not even touch the classification part. I don't know whether I will have a time to do it, but we still not able to touch. Still, the Solo's theorem having lot of applications. Okay, so now let's go for the completion. I am repeating these problems again and again because all these problems occur in different exams. CSIR or NBHM or ICERS or second level of IIT, even in GATE exams, this occurs. All the questions, the speaker selected these numbers carefully because this occurs in many exams, and I don't want to give you what are the exams, but this occurs in different exams. That's how I carefully selected. This is one reason, and this another reason is this. Okay, because today lecture is mostly repetitive, you may tend to boring, but it will be great if you are not, but it will be great if you can able to listen this. Okay, let's go. 40. 40 is a direct method. Okay, 40 is the direct method. See, this is not PQ type. That is not P square Q type. This is not P power alpha. This is not PQR type. Okay, now I am revealing directly. Directly, I am revealing why I had chosen these numbers. Let us justify that. This is not PQ type. All of the numbers here are not PQ type, not P square Q type, not PQR type, not P power alpha type. All of this number are not of this type. That's why I have chosen to work individually. Now you understood, right? These are not generally comes. There is a theorem by Burnside that said P power alpha Q power beta, where alpha plus beta greater than or equal to 1. I mean greater than or equal to 1, then the P is solvable. So using that, I could have bypassed this, but I don't like to do that because I want to work out. Since any of these numbers are not generally fitting in PQ those types, that's what I wanted to work out in. This is the exactly recon speaker I've chosen. And that is exactly reason why this appears in the exams various times. Okay, let us deal with the 40. 40. 40 is 2 cube into 3. 2 cube is 8. 8 into 5. Sorry, not 3. 8 into 5 is 40. Okay. N2 is congruent to 1 mod 2. N2 divides 5. N2 is 1 or 5. Both are possible. N5 congruent to 1 mod 5. N5 is like, 1 or 2 or 4 or 8. 2 is not possible. 4 minus 1 is 3 is not possible. 8 minus 1 is 7 is not possible, but divisible by 5. So there is a only one. This is quite direct. Quite direct. So G is not simple. See, again, I'm telling you, look at the 40. I wanted to emphasize the power of the Solo's theorem again. Look at the 40. There are a lot of abelian groups. You see, because of this permutation combination of these powers, the partition powers, many at least 3 abelian groups I can see. 2 or 3 abelian groups I can see. And apart from that, we have a non-abelian group, at least a D2 into 20. There may be something else. We don't know. We have to see lot of, semi-direct product. There may be, at least there is a one non-abelian group. But still, whether it is abelian or non-abelian doesn't matter. Always the phi subgroup going to be normal. Hence unique. Hence simple. It's not simple. I try to say G is not simple. You see, this Solo's theorem does not making much distinguish between the non-abelian group, abelian group. Just by seeing the number, it's working out. That's the power of Solo's theorem. Okay. Okay. So it's a quite direct. Order 40, it's okay. Now let's go for order 48. For order 48, 2 power 4, 3. And I am telling you again, the people who does not able to listen first time, now listen. This is not PQ type. This is not P square Q type. This is not P power alpha type. This is not PQR type. That's why I wanted to do it alone. Okay. Okay. N2 1 mod 2. N2 congruent to 1 mod 2. N2 divides 3. This is 1 or 3. N3 congruent to 1 mod 3. It's 2 power 4 divisible. Divise 2 power 4. So 1, 2, 4 or 8. And you can see the 4 is possible, 2 is not possible, 8 is not possible, but 4 is possible. 4 minus 1 is 3, 3 divisible by 3. So we have 4 cases here again. And again telling you, I wanted to work on this, but still you can work on this also. So I choose to work on this. I have a three silo subgroup K1, K2, K3, K4, and group acting on that. That says that there is a group homomorphism from S4. Here is 24. Here is what is that? 48. 48 cannot be injective, right? Cannot be injective. 2. Kernel is proper. That's it. The same idea. Cannot be injective. Why? Because this side is 48. This side is 24 cannot be injective, and the kernel is cannot be G because second Silo theorem opposing that. So always the kernel, whenever the Silo subgroup at least 2, always the kernel is proper. The kernel of Phi is proper and non-trivial. Hence, proper, non-trivial, then normal. So G is not simple. Okay, one more question. So then we will finish this silo things. Okay, one more question. 54. 54. 54 can be written as 2 into 3 square, and it does not fit into generally. What generally? PQ type, PQ like that type. Okay, I will send you the notes. I will send you the notes. Try it. But I wanted to do it in a 56 already dealt. I want to do it in a type. I'm now introducing a type P Q power alpha. P less than Q, alpha greater than or equal to 1, both prime. So let us understand. Order G is P Q power alpha NP congruent to 1 mod P. NP divides Q power alpha. So the possibility 1 or Q square dot 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 or Q power alpha. Maybe everything possible. I don't know. This is possible. Maybe others possible. I don't know. But this is easy. This side. NQ congruent to 1 mod Q. NQ divides P. NQ equal to 1 or P. But P is not possible because this is not possible. So this says that NQ is 1. That implies K whenever K is normal and unique and proper. So the type P Q power alpha is also G is not simple. Okay. So this is a one special case of that. This is a one special case of that. And I will give you the idea. Try it. Try it. This is the idea. Try it. G P power alpha into Q, P less than Q, P prime, both prime. Both prime. For what alpha? G is not simple. Use the group action idea. You can see, you can get a condition on alpha where G not as simple. Maybe you can go for P power beta, where beta and alpha greater than or equal to 1. Both are greater than or equal to 1. And you see for what kind of beta and alpha this can be done. You can come up with a various thing. This is a very nice problem one can do so that one can understand really the group action method, okay? Or the direct method. In fact, it is more direct than group action. This is more direct. Okay. Okay. So assume beta equal to 1 and work out. Assume beta equal to 1 and work out. Then go for it. Okay. Fine. So I have a 20 more minutes. In the 20 more minutes, I want to deal with this class equation because this is important. NBHM asks question from class equation indirectly or directly. CSR asks question from class equation. Okay, there are one question which appeared in the NBHM exam 2015, I think, and one question which appeared in other three CSR exam. Okay, let us understand what is class equation. So whoever understood the lecture, for them is easy because it's a special action. A group so far acting on X, I told you there are two conditions. One condition E comma X equal to X for every X. Second condition, you do it on group, then act or individually. First act G2, then G1 is both are same. For the special action, which is called conjugation action, group acting on itself by conjugation. What is the action? This is action. GX, G inverse. This is action. Let us check whether this is group action or not. It's a very nice problem, right? EX equal to EX E inverse identity E. So X identity does not matter, right? This is again EX. So that's not okay. G2X that is equal to G2X G2. Then you act on G1, G1, G1 inverse. That is same as G1, G2X, G1, G2 the whole inverse. That is same as G1, G2X. So it's a group action. Okay, this special group action. So whenever group action there, we are calling something orbit, something stabilizer, right? Let us understand what is the orbit looks like here. Gx, G belongs to G. This is called orbit. Fixing the second, wearing the first is called orbit. So that the original definition, the definition is Gx G inverse, which is nothing but the conjugacy class. The definition of the conjugacy class. See, the orbit for this particular action is called the conjugacy class. Special name. Stabilizer. Stabilizer definition, set of all G which does not do anything with the G. The original definition, Gx G inverse is X for every, for such a G I'm collecting, and Gx equal to Xg. So this is called centralizer. Under this action, these are very nice name. The orbit is called the conjugacy class. The centralizer, the stabilizer called the centralizer. Okay, immediately you can say this is a subgroup. You no need to prove because we have proved in general. The orbit stabilizer formula becomes, what is the orbit stabilizer formula? Do you remember orbit stabilizer formula? Orbit stabilizer formula is the order of G is orbit of X into stabilizer of X. So the orbit stabilizer formula says this. In our case, this. The orbit becomes conjugacy class. This becomes stabilizer. That's it. Okay. This is the first one has to note to deal with the class equation. First to note this. Okay, first. Now, whenever X belongs to center of G, that means X commute with all. That is X G Gx equal to Xg for every G. X commutes. That means X goes from here and there, here and there. Gx is same as Xg. So X can come here, it goes here like that. X commutes. That's called commutativity. In that sense, what happens to the thing? Xg is inverse. X commutes, right? So this is nothing but G inverse X. So this is just simply X. So this becomes just 1. Okay, this becomes just 1. Okay, I wanted to prove the reverse way in the same way, but we have the, nice thing. Cx Zx. Cx Zx. So whenever X belongs to Z of G, Cx is 1. That implies Zx equal to G. This is also true. Whenever Zx G, then Cx is 1. Whenever Cx is 1, X belongs to center of G. First, you take the center of G. By definition, commutativity says that there is only one element. Whenever there is only one element, Z of X is just this. So what is the definition of Z of X? To prove the reverse way, what is the definition of Z of X? Z of X is nothing but set of all G which commute only with X. That is equal to G means, capital G means the whole group means every element commute with X. That means that is inside this. So again we say the quality towards the quantity. The quality being inside the center is commutativity captured by the quantity. The quality captured by the quantity. Okay. This is much more beautiful. Okay. That's the second thing. First thing, the RB stabilizer formula. The second thing, if it is one, if and only if it is center of G, the quality relates to the quantity. Now, the center of G elements commute with everything. So in particular X, right? Elements commute with everything, in particular X. Here we are collecting only with X, just with X. I don't care whether I'll commute with other or not, only with it. So the element commute with everything, it is here. So it's a subgroup. So these three facts are needed. These three facts are needed. And one more fact is needed. Then we can work out this formula. One more fact is needed. What is that one more fact? Fourth fact. You know the orbit stabilizer formula says that orbit divides the group G, right? In our case, Cx divides G. Not only Cx, Zx divides G. Not only that, center of G divides G. Okay, order G. Everything is a subgroup and conjugacy. So these three things are giving lot of condition. And this is going to be the key to say class equation is not possible. Many of the cases. Okay, let's see. Let's see. First thing. Uh, let's consider for the group 6. That's a very small thing, right? Because non-abelian group shows up from the 6. I want to split the 6 into numbers. Okay, some numbers. Maximum I can go for 6. Okay, maximum maximum I can count for 6. But there is a condition, first condition, and I only care for non-abelian. Okay, because abelian means center is whole group. So everything like 1, 1, 1, 1. Whenever 1, 1, 1 is coming, is abelian. Okay. Whenever 1, 1, 1, 1 is coming, abelian. Okay. I will tell you what I am trying to say. Okay, let's go back here. From the beginning, I wanted to study about the class equation. For that, we have a special action which is called conjugacy action. Under that action, the OX called the conjugacy class, stabilizer called the centralizer of that. These are the things you know. Then the G, the X here G, will split into orbits. In our case, X is G, split into this thing. So the order of G is nothing but summation of Cx. Okay, that is what I have written here. The order of G, summation of Cx with one conjugacy class. I mean the order is 1. This is exactly one element. So that means this belongs to center and remaining. This is a classical class equation. Classically, they used to return. If you see Ian Aswin book, he has no word about group action, but they classically written this is a class equation. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Now, I know the center is non-empty, right? The center contains at least one element. So there is a 1 will come. And remaining places, I want to fill such a way that I want to say this is non-abelian. I want to say that such a way that each of the number will divide the 6. So divisor of 6, 2 and 3. So one way is do is 1 plus 2 plus 3. This is one way. 1 plus 2 plus 3. What is another way? Another way is if I have another one, and if I have a 3, I should have another one. If I have 3, another way. If I have a 2, 1 plus 2, 3 cannot come. Then I have to have a 2. Then I have to have a 1. Is it correct? Okay, it's not correct. Sorry.
No, sir. Last one.
No. So it's I have to have a 2. 2, 2. Yeah. So these are the possible. Okay. First, by just seeing the each term should divide. By seeing that each term divide, I will get this kind of idea. And I have to say that some of the idea is not correct. For example, look at this. 6, 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. If suppose this is a question, suppose somebody asking whether this is a class equation of some group or not. First, what you have to check. Each factor individually dividing. Each factor individually. Yes, each factor is individual dividing. Yes, true. Cx divides order of G. True. The first thing. Second, center of G here is 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2. Only 2 elements. Center of that also divides G, which is 6. So second factor. The third factor. Look at this particular guy. So this is Cx equal to 2 for some x, right? Cx is equal to 2. So we know that order of G equal to Cx into z of x. This is 6 equal to 2 into z of x. That implies z of x equal to 3. The order is 3. Remember that z of g order is 2 and z of g inside z of x. So 2 divides 3, which is not possible. Which is not possible. That's why this is not possible. This idea also repeats. I will explain. I will explain. Don't worry. Don't worry. I will explain. If somebody asking you whether this is possible or not, okay, let me say 6 equal to 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3. Somebody asking you whether this is a possible class equation or not. Okay, each of the term divides, that's okay. What is center of g? Center of g is 3, but this guy cx 3, g equal to the formula cx and zx Orbit stabilizer formula, which is 6 equal to 3. So something, I mean, the text that implies z x equal to 2, which is not possible because z of g are always sitting inside z of x, which is not possible, which is not possible, which is not possible at all because this is 3, this is 2. Okay. So I know I'm a little bit rushing, but this idea, like Seiler's theorem, again repeats. Like Seiler's theorem again repeats. We will we will go for we will go for the question. This is the NBHM question they asked. Okay. I told you whenever the 111 comes, this corresponds to a billion. We don't care. A billion. You take Z10. That will do. A billion. Okay. Now we will deal with this two thing. 10. 10 equal to 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5. Nice. All this 1 divide the 10, this divide 10, this divide 10, this divide 10. It's okay.
So one is missing.
What?
Z of G is 3.
Sorry. I'm sorry. So z of 3 is 3. That does not divide 10. So this is wrong. So what about this? Let's see what about this. 10 equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. This 3 does not divide 10. That's it. This is also wrong. See, this is an NBHM question. We just like that we are answering. There is no great trick. But there is one more question I will ask myself. 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay. 2 plus 2. Okay. Whether this is possible or not. Okay. This is possible or not. This is a question. This is like add up to that. It's like 8 plus 2, 10. Okay. 10 is coming. So z of g order is 2. So 2 divides 10. Great. No problem. But if you take this guy, z of x is nothing but order of g by order of cx is 10 by 5. Sorry, 10 by 2. We are getting 5. But z of g is inside z of x. Here is 2. This is 5. 2 divides 5. That is not true. So this is not true. This is not true. So this cannot be. So in this way, you will answer. Okay. What are the first step? First step, I'm giving algorithm. Check each and everything. First step. Second step, check the ones whether dividing or not. Second step. At third step, go for this immediately. So this is as in CSR. Okay. What about the possibility for 10 equal to 1 plus 2 plus 5? I mean, sorry, 2 plus 5. Whether this is possible or not, one can ask, right? Whether this is possible or not. Actually, this is possible because of D2. Sorry, D25. See it about D25. Okay, all the reflections will be conjugated. That 5 element. And there is a one identity element. This is conjugation of identity element. This is conjugation of reflection. And there are 4 rotation will come like 2 2 2 2, which will come like 2 2. Okay, fine. So now what we are doing for the class equation, generally how to approach, I will tell you. Generally, let's approach like generally you have to approach like this. Suppose somebody giving you something like this, summation, I mean 1 plus 1 few times plus some numbers, let's say cx1 order plus cxk. Suppose this is order of G. The first thing, check each cxi order divides. Okay. Second, check order of G is nothing but order of ones appeared in class equation. Okay, whether this order of G divides G. Okay, the third thing, we know the formula for z of x, that is equal to mod G by Cx. Check z of G divides z of x. Once if you check everything, these three things are satisfied. These three things are satisfied. These three things are satisfied. Then there is a hope. There is a hope. There is a hope. Then you can go for the real group. What are the groups? We can check it. But after this also, it's not enough actually. After this also not enough. I will tell you one case where it is having lot of problem. One case where it is having lot of problem. It's not enough. I will tell you. I will tell you. Take the 10. 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Oh, sorry, not this one. What is that? Something will come. Uh, something will come. For 15, I think 15. For 15, 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5. Okay. I'm telling you 15 is always abelian. Always cyclic, in fact. By Sylow's theorem, one can prove. This is PQ type. Sylow's theorem, one can prove. But so that means we know already the answer. It should be 1 plus 1 plus 1. We know already the answer. It cannot come like this. It cannot. But let's check. The first condition satisfied. Each term is dividing. First condition satisfied. What about the second condition? Second condition is z of G is 1. Z of G is 1. That is also divide. Okay, fine. This is also divide. What about third condition? Third condition, you take Cx equal to 3. Z Zx will come like 5. Whenever Cx equal to 5, let's say Cy equal to 5, Zy equal to come like 3. So since Z of G is 1, it is going to always divide. So these three conditions are not enough. I'm telling the limitation. These three conditions are not enough. Why not enough? We know the order 15 is always abelian, PQ type. You try to check with the Sylow's theorem, you will see that it is always abelian. So 1 plus 1 plus is the correct class equation. It cannot be a class equation, but we don't have the condition to check it. So that's why these conditions are necessary but not sufficient to determine whether something is class equation or not. This is having a lot of problem in this way. So it has a limitation. Okay. Up to this, I will end my talk and we can close the recording. Whatever I wanted to say, I said. We can close the recordings and we can go for the question section. Is it okay, sir?